George Orwell's novel Animal Farm, a group of animals, including pigs, horses, sheep and chickens, rebel against their cruel human master. The animals run their farm according to laws and principles that are fair to everyone. But one of the most chilling moments is when the pigs change a single statement, all animals are equal, with the proviso that some animals are more equal than others. What does this mean? Not only are some more equal, others are less than. Inequality means the distribution of wealth and resources is unjust. Those who do the most work are not rewarded, and we are not all given the same opportunities to start with. We live in an unfair world where the richest 1% have twice as much as 6.9 billion other people, and the 22 richest men own more wealth than all the women of Africa. Hi, I'm Dr. Jinky Trevelyan, a senior lecturer at the Centre for Social Impact, UNSW. In my own life, I've experienced inequality, which results in different pay and opportunities, and I was fortunate to be born and live in a country where I had access to MRI scans and specialist surgeons that saved my life. We're all victims or beneficiaries of an unequal system. It is not simply a matter of where we are born. Inequality impacts on every aspect of work, education, access to resources and community throughout our lives. The Australian Council for Social Services illustrates this different access to resources using the metaphor of a swimming pool. Some of us have more room while others have less. Inequality's impacts appear as multiple disadvantages which impact education, housing and health. It results in lower life expectancy, less earnings, illness and suffering. As with SDG1, alleviating and eradicating poverty, it is not simply a case of creating more wealth. In 2015, OECD Secretary-General Angel Gurria warned, "Inequality can no longer be treated as an afterthought. We need to focus the debate on how the benefits of growth are distributed." Because there is another side to inequality, it is not only about what people are missing out on, but the contribution they make. Just like Orwell's workhorse hero, those who are working the hardest often have the least. Inequality impacts on people through a range of exclusion and discrimination, whether disability, age, ethnicity, place of origin, religion, economic status or gender. Women frequently bear the greater burden for childcare and raising families, but women and children also engage in unpaid and underpaid work. An Oxfam report ahead of the 2020 World Economic Forum in Davos states, "Women and girls across the globe contribute an estimated £8.28 trillion, that's $10.8 trillion, to the global economy, with a total of 12.5 billion hours a day of unpaid care work, a figure more than 3 times the worth of the global tech industry." Underpinning inequality is the discrimination and exclusion of so many people from not only resources but decision-making and empowerment. The OECD's In It Together report states, "The gap between rich and poor keeps widening. Growth has disproportionately benefited higher income groups while lower income households have been left behind. This long-run increase in income inequality not only raises social and political concerns, but also economic ones. Lower-income people have been prevented from realising their human capital potential, which is bad for the economy as a whole. So while general economic growth improves many lives, inequality means not everyone benefits." Applying the Gini coefficient to measure income inequality, the OECD targets inequality globally. The Gini coefficient measures the degree of inequality within communities and nations, not just between developed and developing nations. This shows us that anything above a minor difference in equality has a negative impact on all of our well-being, including GDP. We can also use the Social Progress Index, which looks at social measures of quality of life beyond economic indicators, to address regional and national inequality. We need to look to the underlying causes and the ways in which gross inequality impacts people. According to the UN Assistant Secretary General, rising inequality is not a natural or inevitable condition. It is a product of policies, laws, institutions, social cultural norms and practices, governance deficits, and the unequal distribution of wealth and power. By changing policies, laws and norms that enable unequal distribution of resources, we can address vulnerable people's needs and also their inclusion. The social protection floor is the national responsibility of governments to provide for the basic needs of the community, but these needs are not equal. Importantly, the UN specifies that inequality is an issue within and between countries. Addressing inequality does not mean treating everyone the same, because our situations and needs are not the same. The 10-point indicator speaks of special and differential treatment for developing countries, in particular least developed countries. The world's trade tariffs and taxes are unfair. Without changing these, there will be no equality between workers. For us, this means protecting migrant workers' rights. It also means paying the full price of what products and services are worth, rather than always trying to get the cheapest deal. Numerous organisations and companies support fair trade certification, but it is also the role of all businesses, large and small, to ensure they do not sacrifice people for profit. The UN Conference for Trade and Development, World Trade Organization and International Trade Center indicate that the support of small and medium-sized businesses is crucial in developing and pursuing fair trade. It is easy to see inequality as something too big for the average person to address. Revision of trade terms, wealth tax and universal health care are big picture changes requiring political influence or government level negotiations. However, we are all participants as consumers and as citizens. By collective action and individual choice, we can fight inequality in our schools, workplaces, markets, and communities. The fact that inequality manifests in many ways means that there are more opportunities to address it. For example, we can address access to education at a national, institutional, and community level. Increasing availability and access to technology can also help. Infrastructure, resource development, and the information economy are the responsibilities of governments, but they also involve business partners and the communities they serve. Shifting corporate governance from a narrow shareholder to a stakeholder focus creates a more holistic approach to community wealth and well-being. Access to healthcare and education, including universal preschool and higher education opportunities, contribute to greater levels of equality. Raising wages, equal pay, minimum wages and livable basic incomes are also significant strategies for this SDG. Australia saw a remarkable shift in income support and living wages as a response to the COVID-19 crisis, even while witnessing the worst impacts affecting the poor and vulnerable. There is no time like the present to address imbalances and fight for equality. It is essential that we not only have laws and regulations that provide inclusion and equality for all, but we need to ensure these are upheld, that our governments enact and enforce them. You can join or support an organisation that is a member of the Fighting Inequality Alliance to become involved in political campaigns for equality. Large organisations working at an international level, NGOs such as the Centre for Social and Economic Rights, not-for-profits like Oxfam that link fighting poverty to addressing inequality, are joined by smaller local organisations around the world representing women, Indigenous people, workers, people with disability, everyone who is not treated with equal respect. As a consumer, you can support fair trade certified organisations or find out more about the companies whose products you buy. By using resources like The Good Guide and B Corp, you can make responsible consumer decisions. It is within all our power as consumers to support fair trade and small businesses. As a citizen, you can support the government to provide equal access to education, healthcare and other services by electing parties that support a wealth tax, and even by paying taxes within a system that not only works equitably but addresses inequality. Your contribution might be as simple as helping to make sure a child in a low socio-economic circumstances has a computer to access online education, or paying taxes to support universal health care. Underlying an end to inequality is a belief in equality and respect for all, not because we are all the same, but because we all share and live in this world together.